everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be talking about when I went to see Paul Simon about 2 nights ago now down in Manchester. So yeah, this will be like a little concert report about my time at the concert. Like I'll have like a little bit of footage like from the show in like this video, and then like I'll like go throughout the set list, talk about like the show and like how like great it was and that. Yeah, here's my ticket here, and like my granddad's as well. Like I went with him. Like he's like a big like Paul Simon and Garfunkel fan, so like first generation fan. So yeah, I got like the 2 tickets here, and yeah, it was a fantastic show. It was in the O2 Apollo in Manchester, and yeah, the first thing like I noticed like about it was like sort of like was like in like the queue, just like the range of like ages of like the people attending, like probably like about like sort of 50% was like sort of like older people, so like first generation fans and that, like from like a solo career and like Simon and Garfunkel's. But then there was also like a lot of like younger people like as well, so like 20-30-year-olds and that, like just like going like long as well as sort of like family groups as well. Like maybe like you'd have like the maybe like you'd have like the parents or like the grandparents and then their children and then like young ones as well. So it was really like this good sort of like multi-generational thing, which I think is like great with like sort of like these older acts, like sort of like ELO. Like I went to see like ELO, it was like a really like mixed crowd, same with like McCartney and that. And these older acts, they do manage to attract quite a wide range of like ages, which I thought was like a really great thing like about the concert. Also, the venue was absolutely fantastic. It was a small-ish theatre. It's about 3,000 people. So yeah, this was certainly much better than like when I went to see him like with Sting, where it was in like the Manchester Arena, like this massive like arena. We were right at the back. It was like a great show, but like our seats were like so far back, they were just like a little speck on like the stage. But here, like I was surprised at how close we were, because we were row J. So I was thinking, right, that'd be about 10 rows back, but actually we were only about like 5 rows back. Must have like either like removed like a couple of like rows and like extended like the stage out or something, but we were very close to the front. And yeah, it was just fantastic and very intimate venue, really suited the music, I thought. So, and I was going to include a little bit of footage what I filmed like from like the concert. Got like little like snippets here and there of like a couple of like the songs. So yeah, I'll just put that in like now, and then I will go over his set list.
It was a slow day. The sun was beating on the soldiers by the side of the road. There was a bright light, a shattering of the shop windows, the bomb and the baby carriage wired to the radio. It's called, the camera follows us so long, the way we look to us all, and the way we look to a distant constellation down in a corner of the sky. These are the days of miracle and wonder. Don't cry, baby, don't cry, don't cry. The problem is all inside your head, she said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. Long time ago, yeah, before you was born, dude, when I was still single and life was great, I heard this job as a traveling salesman. It kept me moving from state to state. Where the state on corner of Lafayette, state of Louisiana, wondering where a city boy I can go to get a little conversation, drink a little red wine, check out the Cajun girl, she dancing. Cause it's really not a play job, but that's where I am. Everybody says the old guy working at the car wash hasn't got a brain cell left since Vietnam. But I say, help me, help me, help me, help me, thank you. I've no idea that you were there. When I say, help me, help me, help me, help me, fortunes together. I've got some real estate here in my bag, so we bought a pack of cigarettes and Mrs. Wagner pies, and we walked off to look for America. And this is The Obvious Child. I'm sitting in the railway station, got a ticket for my destination. On a tour of one night stands, my suitcase and guitar in hand, and every stop is neatly planned for a poet and a one-man band. Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Home where my thoughts are sleeping, home where my music's playing, home where my love lies waiting silently for me. World's gone, Joe. I hear a hell prowling on the hill. The werewolves coming. Ignorance and arrogance, the national debate. Put the fight in Vegas, that's $1 billion game. Revenue, pay-per-view should be pretty healthy. The usual deductions, then it all goes to the wealthy. He's a poor boy, empty as a pocket. He's empty as a pocket with nothing to lose. Sing. Ta-na-na, ta-na-na, ta-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Ta-na-na, ta-na-na, ta-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. She's a rich girl. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. He's a poor boy. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Once more, she got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Just what that meant. I'm gonna have to walk around the block if I wanna get in a wristband, my man. You got to have a wristband. You don't have a wristband, my man. You don't get through the door. Mississippi Delta, shining like a national guitar. I follow in the river, down the highway, through the cradle of the Civil War. I'm going to Graceland, just to Graceland, to the Memphis, Tennessee, Graceland. Poor boys and pilgrims and families, and we are going to Graceland. Laying low, seeking out the poorer quarters where the ragged people go, looking for places only they know. Ride, ride, ride,
And I'm just going to go over the set list. If like you don't want to know what the set list is for this tour, like maybe like you're going to see him in like a couple of weeks time, then like I would probably turn off like the video now. But anyway, yeah, so like he opened up, well actually like the band came on first like his backing band must have been about 10 people there, like all like playing different like instruments, different horns, drums, guitars, keyboards, like all manner like of instruments on the stage. They done a instrumental version of like the Graceland track Gum Boots before Mr. Simon himself came on for The Boy in the Bubble. Then they've done 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, Dazzling Blue, That Was Your Mother, a rewrite, and then the Simon and Garfunkel classic America was fantastic. That was a highlight for me, like a full band performance off that one, like as well, not just Paul Simon solo. So that was great. Then he done Mother and Child Reunion and Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard from his first album. Spirit Voices and The Obvious Child followed that, and then he done a new song, Stranger to Stranger, which was great. Then done Homeward Bound, Simon and Garfunkel classic. Yeah, like he mentioned that it was like written like very close to like where like it was like Widnes train station, which is only like a short drive like from like Manchester. So yeah, like that was great. Then he done an instrumental version of El Condor Pasa If I Could, which was a bit disappointing that like they didn't like actually sing that one. Like that would have been like really nice if like they sang it, like the audience was sort of like singing along with it, but like would have been nice if like Paul like had sang it himself as well. But like that like went into Duncan, like forgotten track like from his first album. Then they done The Werewolf, one of like his newer songs. Then The Cool River from Rhythm of the Saints. Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes, and then You Can Call Me Out closed the main set. But then he came on for like an encore, where like the band's done an instrumental version of Proof from Rhythm of the Saints again. Like that worked quite well. Then he done a new song, Wristband, like the new single like from his album. Yeah, that was fantastic. Then Graceland, and then Still Crazy After All These Years. So that was encore one, and then they got a second encore, which was Late in the Evening. One Man's Ceiling is Another Man's Floor, which is a personal favourite of mine. Like I didn't think that like he would do that one, but yeah, like, it was so great to hear that one done. And then the Boxer sort of closed out the second encore, and then like he came on like himself solo and sang American Tune to finish the show. So yeah, I thought that set was absolutely fantastic. I mean, because it wasn't like a completely like nostalgia trip. I mean, like on like say like Paul McCartney's shows, and like every second song he does is like a Beatles track, or probably like more than that. I think about like 80% of his songs like a Beatles songs. Whereas here, like he did do a lot of like his solo hits, as well as a handful of like Simon and Garfunkel tunes, but then he also like found time to mix in some like newer songs as well, like, not just from his latest album, but like, a couple of tracks from So Beautiful or So What I thought was like great, and then like also like some forgotten gems as well from like a solo career, such as Duncan from his first album. One Man's Ceiling is Another Man's Floor, again a really underrated album track from There Goes Rhymin' Simon, and also Spirit Voices as well from like Rhythm of the Saints. These are all like what you would call sort of deep cuts and that. So yeah, like, it was really great to hear these done live. My only complaint with like, the set was that there wasn't anything from Hearts and Bones, one of my personal favourite albums. A little bit off a shame that he didn't do like anything from that album, but apart from that, the set worked really, really well, and like it shows that he is still very creative, quite daring like as well. Like he could just play it quite safe and do like all like the Simon and Garfunkel hits and that, but no, like he chooses like to showcase some of like his like lesser known stuff, some of like his like more like newer stuff, alongside like his older hits as well. What I think was really, really great of him. So my only other complaints about the show, or more like about like the actual like arrangements and that sort of thing, was that there wasn't like a program for sale. Like most of like these concert tours and that, like they do like they do like try and sell like a program, and that usually about sort of £15 to £20, and I definitely would have bought one, but I could not see one. Like I went up to like the merchandise stall, and like they had t-shirts and that, but like I didn't really fancy getting one. Like the designs weren't all like great, and like they were selling like his like new album as well, Stranger to Stranger, but no program. What I thought was like a little bit disappointing. Like definitely would have been nice to get that as like a memento like from like the concert. So yeah, other thing as well was like his closing song as well. Most of the times on this tour, like he's been doing like The Sound of Silence as like the end song, which worked really well, but for this one like he decided to do American Tune, which was probably spurred on by like the result in like the US election there, and that like he just like done this one sort of like very like reflective lyrics and that sort of say like I wonder what's gone wrong and all that. So like it really fitted well, like it was a good sentiment to do that song, but it was a little bit disappointed that like we missed out hearing The Sounds of Silence, which I mean like that's like twice I've seen him, and like twice like he's not done what is arguably his signature song. So yeah, like a little bit disappointed there. But yeah, like it was still fantastic though. And then like the other thing was nothing to do with Paul Simon like himself, but like it was more like the venue. They had like these stewards like going round like the stalls and that, sort of like asking people like to stop filming and that. And like I was alright because I was sort of in like the middle of like a row, so like they weren't like coming up to me and saying like stop filming, but like it was kind of like this weird feeling that like you were always being watched and like stuff like that. Like it meant that like you were a little bit distracted from like the show, thinking, God, like, oh, like they're watching me trying to like film this bit here, because I was only filming like little 30-second snippets of like the songs and that. I wasn't filming like the whole thing like by any means. I was really enjoying it, really soaking up like the performance. But yeah, like they kind of like, I don't say ruined it like at all, but it kind of like detracted like a bit when like you felt that like you were always sort of like being like watched on to see if like you were filming or like doing anything like that. Like people like around like the outside rows and that were all being sort of told like stop filming and that. So yeah, it was a little bit like unfair that like it says nothing on like the ticket, like doesn't say like no cameras. Like usually like if like they don't want you to film, they'll put it on like the ticket. So yeah, that was the only thing, but overall it was still a fantastic show. If like he is like touring like again, like I would recommend you go and see him. Like I know like he's only got like a couple more dates on this tour left. Like I think he's done most of Europe. He's definitely finished in like America for this tour, and like he has also said as well that this might be like his final tour. Like he suggested that he might go into like retirement or maybe sort of like settle down like a little bit, maybe not tour as much. So if this is like the last tour like he's doing, it was like a fantastic way to go out, because it was a brilliant show. He's still in that great voice. His voice is still very soft, very smooth, very pleasing to the ears. And yeah, his set was just brilliant. He has so many fantastic classic songs, and like that's the other thing like as well. It really showed how like much variety was in like his catalogue. Like you could go from like a really like reflective, calming song to like very sort of like very like thoughtful lyrics and that, to sort of like You Can Call Me Al and Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes, getting like the whole crowd up and like dancing and that. So yeah, it was fantastic sort of variety like what he has. And like then like the more sort of like rhythmic stuff like from like his like latest album and like Rhythm of the Saints, so that they worked really well. So yeah, it was just a sort of great mix of all like the things that Paul Simon like is great at doing. So yeah, I really enjoyed the concert. Hope that you can go and see him live maybe if like he is touring in the future. And yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.